Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today I've got a really good Texas rigging tip that will help prolong the life of your baits and in turn save you a few extra bucks because you're not buying as much tackle. And at the same time, because it's going to keep your bait in the correct rigging position, it should lead to a few extra bites throughout the day. And before I get into today's tip, I do want to remind you that if you are looking to buy some tackle, please use the Tackle Warehouse affiliate link that I've got in the description. It's a great way to show your support for the channel and at the same time show that you are enjoying the tips like today's. And today's is a really simple one, but it actually can make a big difference both for your wallet and the number of bites that you get. So generally, if you've got a Texas rig, regardless of whether it's a worm or a creature bait, whatever it is, once the bait starts getting torn up a little bit or used, a lot of times what happens is the worm portion will start sliding down the hook. So when you make a cast, it may happen on the actual casting motion. It may happen when the bait enters the water, it slides down. It may happen when you go to move your bait underwater and the pressure of the water just pushes the bait down the hook shank. And therefore, your cast is basically ruined at that point. You may not even be aware of it until you bring your bait back in. And it's one of those things at that point, you've got a couple of options. You can cut off a ½ inch of your worm, rethread it on, but at that point, maybe you change the motion of the bait. Maybe the bait's a different length now and it just doesn't generate the same number of bites. Or you can reach into your bag of plastics and put a brand new bait on. That's definitely something you can do, but you'll go through a lot of plastics a lot faster that way. Well, one thing that's been brought to my attention by one of you guys out there, a viewer who put a comment up, and I felt like I wanted to share this tip because it's a really good tip, is when you're Texas rigging, there's a very simple way to help keep the top of your worm up there. You know, I've done some other videos about putting toothpicks through the eye and different things that you can do, but this is another simple one that will help, and it's a easy one to do on the water, and you probably already have the components for it. So what you want to do is grab yourself some bobber stops, and all you have to do is take, say, your worm. So I've got, in this case, I've got, this is a Berkeley wind-up worm. I'm going to take the speed worm off, which is already kind of worn out. And this is a new one. I'm just going to thread it on like you normally would Texas rig it. So thread it up. At that point, grab yourself one of your bobber stops and literally thread it onto the hook point. And it's one of those things, it takes a little bit of practice and it does not slide up like super easy, but that's one of the reasons it works. And this is something that you can kind of have done up beforehand. So you apply some pressure. I've got the hook point coming through, take my nail, and I'm just going to slide it down over the barb. So you can see I've got it over the barb. At that point, I'm just going to slide the bobber stop all the way down, and it's not easy, but that's part of the key. That means it's going to stay in place. So, I mean, I'm taking some pretty good pressure to slide it up to the bend in the hook shank. And at that point, I'm just going to put it right on the corner. I'm going to take it, finish my Texas rig. And at that point, that little bit of a bobber stop becomes such a good stopping point for the plastic. You know, if I grab this and just pull on it, I can't get it to slide down because that plastic is not super slippery or anything. It basically grabs the plastic and keeps it in hold. It's not necessarily even just that you've got a little bit of a bump now. It's more the fact that the plastic bait hits the rubber bobber stopper and just does not want to come up over it. So at this point, you're going to increase the longevity of your plastic baits. And at the same time, you're going to keep your bait in the correct rigging position. So not only are you going to save a few bucks, you're going to probably get a few extra bites because your bait now is staying in the correct position. And one nice thing too with this is once you've, rigged it up, if you do end up going through this worm, you can take your bait and still rig it over that plastic. Now, I personally would rather rig it afterwards, but you can still slide it up and over with a little bit of pressure and it goes right into place. So guys, this is a really simple one. Bobber stops are really cheap. So you're going to save some worms. You're going to increase the number of bites. This is a simple tip from one of the viewers out there that I wanted to share with you because I think a lot of you guys would probably appreciate this and want to put this to work. So guys, Thanks for sharing your information with me. If you've got other tips you want to share with other people, throw it up in the comment section. And guys, stay tuned. We got another video coming out tomorrow.